Hello and welcome to the Voice of Youth, exclusively by India People's Talk. Today, the guest we have with us is a rising music producer and a rapper, Pulkit Kohli, also widely known as Meeraatish. He raps about socio-political issues. Although the socio-political issues are not a very uncommon topic in the rapping industry, Pulkit has single-handedly started this new trend called news rapping. So let's find out about Meeraatish and his craft. Welcome you, Pulkit, to the Voice of Youth, and I'm very glad that you're here today. So let's start, shall we?
Thanks, Urza. It's an honor.
So let's start, okay.
Okay.
So Pulkit, tell us about your roots. Like where and how, when did you start? Because you're an engineering student, I know. So how did you start your journey into music and rapping?
Okay, so I did my B.Tech from Indraprastha University in biotechnology. So it's in Delhi, and I started rapping when I was in second year. That was the first time I wrote something. It was very, very horrible actually. Now that I think of it, it was like a nursery rhyme, something like that. But that's when I started, and by the time I was in third year, that's the time when I started formally learning about rap. And basically I started with English, and I had joined some online community, and they were non-Indians mostly. So that's where I learned a lot from the people around there. So then around that time I was not recording anything or making music or anything. I was just writing on free beats from YouTube and all.
Okay.
Yeah, then I got enrolled into an M.Tech course at IIT Kharagpur. That was the first time when I was in some hostel, out of Delhi basically. So I got kind of some freedom to try out new stuff, and that's when I bought myself a keyboard and learned the art of music. That actually helped me a lot with my skills, and around that time I switched to Hindi, and I started writing, and I also got myself a mic, and I kind of made my room into a studio. And yeah, so I learned.
Which language do you think you were more comfortable in, and then it made more impact, like Hindi or English?
When I starting in English was because around that time Hindi rap was not a big thing. We had Honey Singh and all, but and around that time Raftar and Badshah and all were also starting to pop up into Bollywood.
Yeah.
But I felt like the music I listened to in English, I felt like Hindi mein rap, it might not work out. But later on I felt like my accent and all, I was trying to fake my accent and like imitate the American or British rappers and all. So that felt like that did not come naturally to me. So I felt like I'm more comfortable in Hindi. So since then it's Hindi. Yeah.
So your rapper name is Meeraatish, right? So it sounds like a Urdu term, I guess. So what does it mean, and how do you connect yourself to it?
Yeah, okay. So there's some story behind it. Actually, not exactly a story, but I like reading about history, and particularly I started with history of Delhi and all. So it's mostly a Mughal history. So I was just reading some article about the armies and all, So Meeraatish was a rank in the army. He was
Okay.
the person who was in charge for bombs and artillery. So that kind of felt like explosive. Like Atish is like Atishbazi type, fireworks type. So in that sense.
Okay. So how did you connect yourself to it?
First of all, so it's kind of the name says like the person would be dropping some, triggering
Okay.
stuff, not bombs. so, so
So it's like you started dropping truth bombs.
I think so.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like most of your songs, because I follow you a lot, so I've seen you write on social justice a lot. Okay, so when did it hit you basically? Like, because that there is one point where we just grow up and then we like tend to see that the injustice is happening, and then that's how we start. So where did that happen to you? Like, is there some kind of incident that you'd like to remember today that gave you the urge to bring a change to this world?
Social injustice is something that we people see on a daily basis, even as children, even when if our parents try to protect us from the reality. But like, suppose we are traveling with our family and all, on the roads we can see the beggars and all. So the poverty and issues like these we are kind of familiar with, although we don't know the social causes behind these issues. But still we are in some ways exposed to these things. And also, like, parents always watch news at the night. And nowadays it's it's not worth watching, but like back then there was always some head thing, like some child got raped or murdered and all. So we were always kind of exposed to these issues. And but yeah, so basically for me, I started with mostly with environmental issues. I used to write blogs and all, even when I was in school. So that kind of and it's all linked to environment and then social issues and all. So that kind of brought me into this. But mostly, see, engineering and all does not teach one to be socially sensitive, unfortunately. So I had to kind of be disconnected while I was in engineering. But after that, I started preparing for UPSC, and that kind of made me aware of the daily news and all. So that kind of brought me into that.
So UPSC really helped with that. Okay, cool.
Sab try
So,
kiya.
You have this song Azora Hai, and which I personally like a lot. So tell us about these songs, like specifically Azora Hai. Like, why did you write it? First of all, it's kind of a diss track, right? So how did you, like, what was the intention behind it? And tell us about some of your more got the recognition actually, like on Instagram or somewhere.
Okay, so like when I wrote Azora Hai, I wrote it about a year ago. And I did not intend it to be a diss track. I felt like I was, yeah. So actually this was a concept I was thinking about a lot. It's kind of based on split personality. So that was something around which I tried to originally make the song. But around that time, so this guy, so I don't like to drop names, but since it's very obvious about who the track was, So Dhruv Rathi kind of made his videos around that time on Black Lives Matter, and there was some tweets that he was making that he's a practicing Hindu atheist and all. So one of my friends suggested to make a diss track on Dhruv Rathi, but I kind of felt like, okay, I have this song and I wanted to put this out just because I liked the story and all, the concept, and somehow it kind of linked with that story. So in the video is about Dhruv Rathi, but the song originally was not about him, but somehow it linked. And, yeah.
So some other songs that you have made?
Yeah. So for recognition, if I would say, if you mean views and all, then there's one song which I made on the comment section from our Prime Minister's Instagram account. So he was on one day he was spammed by a lot of people, especially around the time when TikTok was banned. So that's around the time one of my friends suggested, again that same friend who suggested me to this Dhruv Rathi. So he suggested that I make a song something around with the comments. So I thought that, okay, I can make a rap and rhyme the comments, the original comments, and not put my own lyrics in there. And I tagged those people whose comments I shared, and they somehow made it more increased its reach, and so that is my most viewed song on Instagram. Although I did not expect it, I just put it out just for the sake of it, because I liked the concept. There's another song called Manushitty, which I recently put out. Personally, I liked I was kind of attached to it, and because these kind of things don't get talked about, and even if they get talked about, they are not very sensitive to the people and who about who it's made. So so that's one of the tracks, and yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw on your Instagram that you had this very unique thing started, and you basically single-handedly started this new trend of news rapping.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So this is a very unconventional idea, because you see news, because we are journalists, so we can say news has always been traditionally presented as audiovisual or in written format, articles and stuff. So how did this idea of news rapping come to you? How did you start?
Around that time, Instagram Reels was a new feature. The TikTok was already banned, and Instagram Reels had been rolled out. And the reach for Instagram Reels was pretty organic at that time, because it was not a very frequently used feature, even among the TikTokers who are on Instagram. And I thought that at that time, the limit was also for 15 seconds on the Reels. We cannot go beyond 15 seconds. So I thought that this can be done on a daily basis, because 15 seconds is not a lot of commitment. And at the same time, it would keep me in touch with rapping and all, because on a daily basis, usually I tend to get disconnected because I also have a job and all, so I don't get a lot of time. So I thought that maybe this could make me more disciplined about rapping. So the news idea was just basically because I thought that maybe I cannot think of a new concept on every day. That again would be a lot of time consuming stuff. So I kind of thought that maybe if I just go with the headlines and present it in the form of a rap, so that's how it came. I did it for like
Okay.
a month on a regular basis, but then I kind of got bored. So it was because, and also it was kind of, I felt like very draining because the news, is not very, very positive and all. And
Hmm.
on a daily basis, ju- when we present the same kind of stuff, it's just the same kind of stuff. And I felt like, okay, maybe I need to take a break because I'm not finding any new way to present the same thing again and
Hmm.
again. So that's how it ended. I liked it, but and then I thought that maybe I can just uh, make it a weekly thing and make a proper
Hmm.
song on a weekly basis. Uh, but I still have not gotten myself to do that. So it's still on the plans to be executed, but I'm not sure if it would be this month or maybe the next month. But I hope to get to
Okay,
it. Yeah.
so like I personally feel like it was a very good concept. Like it has a lot of potential. So
Thanks.
I wish you luck that you actually do it in future. Like we'd like to see more of it. So
Okay.
let's move ahead. So
Mhm.
how are you thriving as a musician right now? Because you work in a law firm, I guess.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the whole work and music life? Like how do you juggle between it?
Uh, so um, so while I was at my firm, it's around it takes around 3 hours for me to commute uh, to the office and back home. So on a daily basis it took 3 hours, and when I came home I was kind of very exhausted, so I did not make a lot of music around last year. But since the lockdown we have been working at home, so I saved those 3 hours and also some physical exhaustion. So that kind of has given me the free time to make the music. And since I'm at home I can easily switch back at my studio. It's in the other room. Yeah. So it's easy to manage. It's much
Hmm.
easier, but although not very easy, but still much better than before.
So lockdown has actually helped you in some
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pulkit, where do you see yourself in future in the field of music? Like, do you want to make it like your main profession, or do you want to, keep juggling between things like this? Because we
Yes,
would really like to
if
know.
given a chance, then then I would like to make it a career because I like doing it, and I would like to do it for the music community as well. I know there are a lot of aspiring artists who, like me, uh, do not get to do it on a daily basis, on a full-time basis. There are also a lot of artists like who can write really good raps, but they do not have any music knowledge, so they cannot make their own beats. So I would like to somehow maybe form a community or something like that, where we can help each other out uh, and help each other grow. Yeah.
Also, how important is fame for you? You see, like there
Sorry.
are so many artists who work for fame. Okay,
Oh,
so
fame.
fame and power and money. So how important is that part for you?
Uh, so earlier I thought that maybe it's very important to get the recognition and all uh, from the fellow artists, but now I've kind of changed my perspective towards it. Uh, Not just the fellow artists, from regular people as well. Uh, so basically, we are making our art, and art is also a form of communicating with other people. and
Mhm.
somehow if our art we are not able to send across the message, we are not able to connect with the listener uh, in the way we want it to, then it kind of feels like it's not we are not doing our job properly either, or maybe the people are not ready for this, or it might be due to various other factors as well. But basically fame is like it's I do not kind of resonate with that. It's not like I appreciate if other artists are looking for it, if they are chasing it, but I personally do not like
Okay.
the idea behind it. Yeah.
So community is more important for you than fame.
Yeah. Also the movement
Okay.
on
So
the political side.
okay, the movement. Yep. Okay. So now this is my favorite question, my personally favorite question. So do you get the hate on internet, because you know the dark side of internet, that is, because the kind of content you make is going to, you know, uh, bring you a lot of hate, and I can like surely say. So what is your anti-troll policy basically? How do you deal with it?
So, as of now, I have not gotten that much of reach, so it's not. So my work has somehow not reached the trolls. So I'm kind of protected from it, and also it might be due to my privilege and all, but that I'm getting away with it. But yes, in the song Manushitty, I that was the first time when I got some kind of troll attention. I don't personally engage with trolls. Uh, uh, there are some college mates who still DM and reply to my stories, and they in a disagreeing tone. But I personally uh, don't engage if I sense it's a trolling tone. Uh, if I sense that the person is willing to hear my point of view on this, then I slightly engage in debate, but not at the cost of my own mental health, because yes. So if I get the time and if I have the mental energy, then I reply uh, in my DMs to people who I know, but not to trolls, even in the comment section.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
a very good policy actually.
It's
So,
keeping me safe for now.
so seeing that you have a lot of things on stake for you, because you have a different profession, and then with that you're juggling the whole music scene. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
I try not to overburden myself. I try not to
Mhm.
take a lot of pressure of like that daily rap with that daily news reel came a sense of responsibility, but also a sense of pressure that okay, I have to make it. And somehow I felt like the art is not is kind of being compromised. So I try to take enough breaks and all whenever possible. That keeps me mentally relaxed to some extent. Whenever I feel like there's too much information on like social media platforms, then I try to not engage too much with the social media. So that kind of break also helps me. Other than that, I just feel when I start, when I just find the will to just sit down and like write a few words or something, then it
Mhm.
kind of builds the momentum, uh, and somehow I end up making something. If even if I don't like it, but I still feel kind of satisfied that I have done at least something. So a lot of my work I have not put out. I have not even recorded it. I've written a lot, so that still keeps me going, like somehow.
Okay. So the thing is, so like in our life, sometimes we wish that some things are there, like that someone would have told us earlier, so that we wouldn't have gone through a lot of struggle because of it. So now, what is that one thing that you wish someone told you earlier in life? And then with that, what kind of advice would you like to give the youngsters, like who are starting to write rap or who want to get into the oh shit. I think we have run out of time. Raghav?
Oh,
Raghav?
हेलो
yeah.
हाय
हाँ, क्या हुआ वो?
कुछ नहीं
चल रहा क्या?
चालू है ना
कुछ नहीं हुआ ना? चालू है ना? अच्छा ठीक है.
बीच में कुछ मैसेज
Okay.
आया था
Yeah, I ruined it.
keep going
Yeah, good. Cool. We will do that again. So there are some things that we wish someone told early in life. So what is that one thing for you? And what is that one advice you'd like to give to the young people who are starting to write rap or who want to get into the rapping industry and music production?
So the one thing that I wish someone would have told me earlier on, or more likely I would have told to my old self, would be to not try to fall in the trap of pleasing people, because somehow that leads us away from ourselves. That does not keep us on track. And to the youngsters, to the people who are aspiring to pursue rap or music or basically any form of art, I would just say that if you don't think that what you are doing is resonating with yourself, I would just advise you not to do it, even if that gets you paid, even if that gets you a lot of followers. That would just be my advice, because in the long run, that is not only damaging to your own self esteem, but it also affects how you pursue your future course. Because once you stumble and you put out your stuff that you don't truly believe in, and it's out there in the public, then you kind of sense you try to defend that instead of trying to correct your own self, even if you know that you are wrong. So even at the start, do what you truly believe, and also do a lot of research before putting out strong opinions, especially political opinions. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. So Pulkit, thank you so much for connecting with us and sharing your journey with us today. This was a very inspiring conversation we had. So thank you so much for coming.
Same here, and thank you to you guys for giving me this platform. This was the first time I have ever done this, and I'm actually very grateful to you people.
We are very glad that you're here. So that's all we have for today, and stay connected, stay tuned for more such interviews with us. So goodbye until next time.